also. Cool.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another Inspiring Thoughts from the Bible, live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg, to our wonderful friends in Europe and beyond. But this morning, we're not joined by anybody over in Europe, but I'm sure there'll be some tuning in, especially on YouTube. We get people all the way from Vilnius, Lithuania, from a few in Germany, some in the Netherlands, and also in Ireland. So it's great to see that. But we're also joined by our people here in the West. And as always, we're overjoyed to have Rabbi Chaim share with us all the way from Jerusalem, along with we're being visited by Cole from Washington, Seattle area, and our friend Timothy in Canada, along with myself. But Rabbi Chaim, please, happy Hanukkah. Take it away. It's so nice to see you, and we so appreciate you sharing Torah with us.
Okay, first, thank you very much, Dan, and welcome everybody, those we can speak on the screen and those I see less only after that on the live Facebook or YouTube, whatever it is. And thank you, Dan, also for reorganizing that we can be broadcasting also on YouTube and not on Facebook, not only on YouTube. I think it's a good opportunity. It's much bringing the words to much broader audience. I think so. What I saw also in the last week, and it's very nice. And I must also say that without even, I think that if you will look backwards towards your last 2-3 weeks, suddenly you open some sort of a university of Judaism, of the Hebrew message. I think so. No, we have something like 4 or 5 broadcasts every week, something like that.
We're working on it, Rabbi. I don't know. We'll see what Hashem has. I mean, there's a lot of people that are hungry and thirsty and looking. There has been of late on Facebook and on some social media pages, a lot of Christian groups are trying to infiltrate. They literally come in posing as B'nai Noach, and then they try to slip in some message, and it's funny to see, but nonetheless, we are so thankful that the rabbis can keep us sound and share the truth. Yes.
So I think that the most important thing we need to acknowledge that we are not doing interfaith discussions, and I think that today what I prepared for today is here. Renat is also joining us. Hi. Renat and Vaida, hi. Good evening. I think that...
Hello, everyone.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening to Europe also. It's very cold.
Good evening.
It's okay?
It's not. We are in Cyprus. And
in Cyprus.
It's a bit warmer than it.
Yeah, it is.
Just in the evenings, it's chilly.
Very nice. Welcome. And what I prepared today is also something that will explain how much we're speaking in a different, I will say, dimension with the Hebrew nation. And, people might have some sort of mistaken thoughts and unclear thoughts for a lot of things. So let's try to dive inside. I will speak through Hanukkah. We'll discuss a bit about Hanukkah and what is the meaning of Hanukkah. And of course, we're also going to see some things from the Bible and also from the Parsha of Noach and his sons, because we're still there. We need to start to continue on also with those things. So let's start through Hanukkah, and we'll dive inside to a lot of more messages. And as usual, whenever you feel that I'm running too fast or you have any questions, don't hesitate, ask me. And you saw that when you're asking good questions, I'm taking my time and I'm trying to give the profound answers and not to keep the answers to myself. The Hanukkah is this holiday of Hanukkah that we have. It's a very unique holiday, because it is a holiday that we're doing for 8 days. Now, I want to remind us all things that we've learned a year ago. It was already a year ago when we spoke about the 7th day. And we saw that for each day, it is closing. God is closing the day. There was the first evening and morning, and it was the first day. And then it was the second day, the third day. The only day that wasn't closed was the 7th day. And we explained in some sort of a way that today we are still in the 7th day. And only when we will finish, we will accomplish the mission of the 7th day, that we need to become holy and blessed. This is where God is going to write down in the Bible that it was an evening, it was a morning, and the 7th day finished. So every time that we are mentioning the 8th day, we're speaking about something that is sparking for us from the next world, from the world of the next day. And Hanukkah also have a symbolic understanding of the 8th day, and this is why we're celebrating for 8 days Hanukkah. And we need to understand what exactly happened there in this fight between the old Hebrew nation, speaking about almost 2,500 years ago, and the old Greeks. You're sitting in where did you say, Renat? Where you staying now? You're not in Greece.
Cyprus, on the former Greek land.
It's not far from the Greek lands. It's in those days it was the Greek land, so it's very nice you're presenting now the land of the Greeks, of the old Greeks. Very nice. And we need to understand what is this universal thing that happened in this day, in this I will say fight that we had between the old Jewish people and the old Greek nation. I want to remind us also something that we already said once a very long time ago, but we said it already a few times. It's not by a mistake that the Christian world decided to take the most holiest day on the 8th day, on Sunday, after Shabbat, because they already saying that the Messiah, the real true Ben Adam, the man of the son of Adam, already appeared in this world. Therefore, we finished the 7th day. So we are celebrating the 8th day, while the Muslim world is saying that we explained all of this already once, that the first 6 days were the days where God interfered inside this creation of the world, and he changed a lot of things. So this is what happened in the 6th day. In the 7th day, God closed, I will say, he closed the nature, the laws of the nature, and from there on, everything is very closed. Everything is very strict. Okay, you will take water and you put underneath the water a bit of fire. The water will go up, will steam out from the water, from being water, and everything have the same laws of the nature, and everything is very closed. And the Muslim world is saying that we never appeared to the 6th day. This is why they're celebrating, or they're putting the holy day of themselves on the 6th day. The Hebrew nation is saying, we are in this world, we are celebrating, or we are doing the holy day on the 7th day, and this is a day that is also reminding us that God created the world in 6 days. In the 7th day he rested. And this is also why it's very important for today in Hanukkah we are lighting candles for 8 days, but every week on Saturday night we are lighting 2 candles to remind us that it's a very holy day at the 7th day and the beginning of the 7th day, at the end of the 6th day. To understand a bit what happened there in this big war that we had between the Hebrew nation and the Greek nation, we need to, let's start to share the Bible and to see things inside the Bible. Okay, so we'll share it is, just a moment. Where it is? I prepared everything, so let me see where it is.
Awesome.
I think this is here. No, here it is. Okay, here it is. Now you will see it. In chapter 10, okay, in Genesis chapter 10, where we see that we need to go maybe to chapter 9 and then to chapter 10. sorry, let's go to chapter 9 first. In chapter 9, we have a very interesting situation where Noah came out from the ark, and God is blessing them that be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And after all of this, we're going to learn this in a much deep way, where God is saying to him everything. And at the end of this chapter, we have a very interesting story. So let's please let's read this story in a moment. In few sentences, we'll read the story in those from verse number 18 in chapter 9. Please, Dan.
And let me turn my mic up. And the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham, he was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the entire earth spread out. And Noah began to be a master of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and became drunk, and he uncovered himself within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness, and he told his two brothers outside.
And now we see something that, please continue on.
And Shem and Japheth took the garment, and they placed it on both of their shoulders, and they walked backwards, and they covered their father's nakedness, and their faces were turned backwards, so they did not see their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his small son had done to him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, he shall be a slave among slaves to his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be a slave to them.
And another very important verse. Let's continue on this the chapter.
Yes.
Sorry.
And may God expand Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be a slave to them. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died.
So now we have three sons for Noah. Noah have three sons, but we see here that one of them was cursed, and the other two are living together. I will say it like that, blessed together. And especially in verse number 27, where it says that God expand Yefet. Okay, God expand Yefet, I'm saying in Hebrew, okay? And the way he dwelled in the tents of Shem. So we have the tents of Shem from one side, and the Yefet side from the other side, and both of them together are getting the main blessing to move on the world to the next stage. We need to understand, first of all, the meaning of those two words. What is the word Yefet and what is the word Shem? Those are two different words. The word Shem we explained a few times already. The word Shem is the understanding of meaning. It's a name, but it's also a meaning. It's also what is your purpose in life. This is the word Shem. And we know that from Shem came after that the Hebrew nation. The word Yefet, and this is what I wanted to show here, the word Yefet, the father Yefet, I will say it like that, the meaning of this word is a beauty, glory. Can you see me? Okay, sorry. It's a beauty, glory, to see something very nice. When you see something very nice, you're saying it's yafeh, it's very beautiful. It's something that is showing or exposing the outside of the things. When you're looking at the Mona Lisa, for example, you're saying to yourself, wow, this is an amazing picture. Go in the streets of Rome and you will see all the craft and all of the things that Michelangelo and his students put there. And you're saying to yourself, this is a very nice statue. This is a very nice things that I can see in front of my eyes. The beauty of things, the harmony of things that you see in front of you, this is Yefet. Now, Yefet had sons and also Shem had sons. So we know that Shem's son at the end of the days also became the Hebrew nation. And in the Yefet, we can see, please read verse number 2, the sons of Japheth.
The sons of Japheth were Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal. and Meshach and Tiras. And
What
the
is
son,
Javan? Javan in Hebrew is Yavan. This is the Greek culture. The Greek culture, okay? The same word. In Hebrew, this is a Greek culture. This is Yavan. Yavan is a Greek culture. Javan is a Greek culture. And this is the son of Japheth. And this is what we say. Now, if you will look at this, we will see that there are, if we will speak today, for example, we will see that there are two main roots, two main foundation to the culture that we have today. One part is coming from Javan, is coming from the Greek, I will say, philosophy, from the Greek understanding. They operated, they opened, they rebuilt, they did to the most highest level, I will say, the mathematics that we have today. And the mathematics that we have today, this is the language that is giving us the bridge to understand this world and to start to control this world and to control all the laws of the world. The mathematics is also the bridge between what's happening in this world and the physics that we have. And the people who, I will say, did all this, rebuilt all of this language to become to such a higher level, this is the people from Yavan, from the old Greek people. This is one of the things that they give. This is one of the roots of what we have today in our culture. Every person in the modern culture is learning in already from year 2 and year 3 in the school, is learning mathematics and the logic of mathematics. Year 7 and year 8 already we are learning things that were being built up in the old Greek foundation, and all sorts of philosophers who did all sorts of things. We all know the Pythagoras calculations. We know all of those things we are learning in all of the schools, and this is a way that we are explaining or understanding for ourselves how we, in our mind, how we are thinking, and it's also giving us the bridge with the laws of the nature of this world. And if we will look at this, we will manage to understand. By the way, also, if we know a bit of an art, and I spoke before about the Mona Lisa, and I spoke also about all the crafts and other things that are in Michelangelo, we know that they did, or they organized all of these things also in a very structured way. The exact, I will say, how do you say it in English? The exact formula of how to paint the face and how to paint the body and all of those things. It's an exact formula, and this is the beauty how to do those things. And if you will look today, the way that we are controlling the world and the nature of the world is bringing us an opportunity also to discuss one with each other, even though I'm sitting in Israel, you're sitting in one side of Canada, Dan, and Timothy is sitting in another side of Canada. We have people who are sitting in Europe, or today
Cyprus.
in Cyprus, and we have people in New York or in Washington. This is only because today we can control every tiny bit of every electron in this world, and we are managing to play with this in the way that it's comfortable for us. And I will say that this is the main thing of the Greece culture that they gave us to this world. It took 2,000 years and it took a lot of time to develop everything, but the foundation, the first language, the first foundation of how it all started, it starts in Greece. But this is the main thing, I will say, of the Greece family or the Greece nation, what they're putting here. But there is another side, and the second side, it's not the Greece family, but it's also what we said before, the Shem family. May God expand Japheth, that he will be the father of the Greece family. and may he dwell in the tents of Shem. Shem is the meaning and the understanding. Shem have something else to bring to this world. The issue of the values, the moral values, and to understand that all of the world could live together. This is something altogether different. It's not quantity like the mathematics. It is something with more quality, the issue of the values. When we're speaking about what is the spiritual values in our world, how to live together between one with each other with those spiritual values. If I will define the two things or the two people that are being held in this 27th verse, Japheth from one side and Shem from the other side, Japheth is basically dealing with the nature of this world. Shem is dealing with the person, with the personality of this world. Japheth is dealing with the non-personal things in this world. Shem is dealing with the person, with the people in this world. Now, both of them need to have both arms together. You can't do one side without the other side. If you will go on and deal with the nature of this world without having any values, moral values, you will find yourself like we found ourselves 70 years ago, where a nation like the German nation was supposed to be, or were people thought that this nation is a very moral and high classified nation, rebuilding gas chambers to kill people. Or on the other side, on the same level, the world had some sort of a fight. Who will manage to build up first time the nuclear bomb? At the end, it was the American who did it, and they throw a nuclear bomb and almost almost killed all of the world. It stopped the war. But if you are dealing only with the nation, with the nature side, you might find yourself doing very bad things and even managing to just a moment. Managing to destroy the world and to kill all the human in this world. This is why we need to combine those two things together. From one side, it's a very important thing that God told us. We need to capture this world. I will find this verse in a moment. We need to capture this world. We need to control this world. We need to take this world to a place where we are managing. I will show you this in the verses. It's already being said in the first chapter of the Genesis. It is. It is. Please read verse number 28.
And God blessed them.
He blessed Adam and Eve. Yes. Okay.
Yes. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the sky and over the beasts that tread upon the earth."
So when we're saying subdue it, we're saying basically that man, God obeys him and also blessing him, that he will manage to subdue all this earth. But if we will stay only by subduing this earth and by capturing this earth and controlling all of this nature without any moral situation, any moral understanding, any moral teaching, we're going to lose everything. By the way, this is also the main, I will say, fight between the second generation, between Cain and Abel. Also, Cain is feeling like he is subdued all of this nature. He owns everything. We spoke about this. He is the most important person in this world. And on the other side, Abel is understanding that because he was born secondly, that he needs to teach Cain how to have more moral position in this world. And it's the same thing with Shem and Yefet, both of them, Japheth and Shem, and both of them need to work together. Now, what happened in the time that the Hebrew nation managed not to get vanished? What happened is that Japheth, Yavan, what we say, the Greece, they captured the Jewish very small state. And they said that in their measurement and with their tools of the mathematics understanding, we are going also to give the moral understanding of this world. And if they would have managed to do that and to kill, or say, the Hebrew nation, or to wipe off the Hebrew nation, we would have got here, we would have got control on the nature without the real, I will say, rules of the moral rules, because you can't do, or you can't teach the moral understanding only through the mathematics point of view, only through the measurement, only through the precise measurement that we have with the quantity of things. We need the quality of things. And this is why the Hebrew nation, even though we were a very small nation there then, and we had a very small army, we had only a few hundred people against 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 army people that came all the time. But the Hebrew nation had the possibility, I will say, to overcome this big Greece nation. And even though the Greece nation was very big, very big empire, we didn't vanish. And everybody understood, and especially the Hebrew nation understood, that we have a role here in this world. We can't vanish. We need to stay in this world. Now, for the 2,000 years after that, we were very inside, I will say, all the other nations, and nobody really listened to us because we didn't have country like we have today. So today, as you said before in the beginning, Dan, we have a lot of thirsty people want to hear what we have to say. Okay, we have a strong nation, and everybody's saying to us, very nice, you have what to say, speak please, and say to us what you have to say. But in the last 2,000 years, what we did in those days of Hanukkah, we lighted small candles. And we said, even though we are only a small candle now, but how exactly can you fight the darkness? When you have a darkness, how can you fight the darkness? The way to fight the darkness is to light a very small candle. And this small candle will move away all the darkness that you have. So we showed ourselves, even though today, in those 2,000 years that we were in the exile, we were outside our homeland and everything else, we showed ourselves that this is our mission. And even though today we are very small, our mission is going to get bigger and bigger. And also, by the way, one of the things that we're doing in Hanukkah, that we're lighting in the first night one candle, second night, tonight we're in the second night. So we're lighting the second candle, and then the third candle. So we're showing to ourselves that one small candle can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we are going to have this influence in this world. And we can't lose not Shem destiny, and we can't lose Japhet destiny. Now that we came back, also the last destiny, also the Ham destiny, the last one, we know that he was in Africa, and those are the black people. We read it in the next chapter also, we see all of this. And they were slaved most of the years. Only in the last 70 years and the last also 20 years in South Africa and everything, they managed to overcome this slavery that we had. And today it's not popular in this world to have slavery of the people. But this is also because we're starting to have much more relationship between the destiny of Shem from one side and the destiny of Japhet from the other side. And we're starting to combine together. We're starting to listen one to each other in a much deeper way. So this is, if I will say, the most important foundation of the of this fight between the old Greeks and the Hebrew nation. And this is why we stood for this fight. We said we can't vanish. If we will vanish, the values of the quantity of the moral explanation of what's happening here is going to get lost. Therefore, we need to stay, even though we are small candles now in the time of the exile. So I explained here in one way the thing of the of Hanukkah. Okay, if you have any questions, this is good time. If not, we're going to continue on to go another in another way. I think we never spoke about the other thing I'm going to say, but maybe we said few things. So I'm going to say it again. It's because it's very related also to Hanukkah and things that we're speaking now. Questions till now. If you have any questions, yes.
I don't see any online, Rabbi, but I just a refresher on, say, the Hellenization, like you mentioned about the way Greece influenced the world. I don't know how much our audience knows of their history, but the Hellenization of the world, the Greeks from Alexander the Great about 330 BC started to really move and take over the world. And Hanukkah was, 165 BC? About 165. So the Greeks had Hellenized the world for about 150 years and had branched into 4 separate kingdoms. And there was one specific ruler over the land of Israel at that time, Antiochus Epiphanes, who was quite treacherous and really shut down the sacrifice and defamed the temple. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. I don't know.
No. The main thing they had, I can tell you a few things. It depends exactly what sources you're reading. We had one of our big. There was a big family of the Kohanim that fought against the Greeks, and Antiochus was here also in this area that, as you said, the Hellenic era, and one of this family, they fought against Antiochus, and one of the family crossed the lines and went to Greece, to the Greek land, and
wow.
he was a historian who wrote a lot of things in the Hebrew language. So we have today a lot of we have a book that is explaining everything that happened there in those days. From one side, in his eyes, we have also few in other sources of the Hebrew nation. One of the things that they did, they put, I will say, on they gave few rules that we were supposed to obey. And the rules were that we are not allowed to learn Torah at all. We were not allowed to learn any Torah, any Bible. We were not allowed to learn any Bible. There were 20. I'm going to say a few very important ones. We're not allowed to keep the Shabbat, to stop working on Shabbat. It was a waste of a day. How come you're not working on Shabbat? You need to work 7 days a day, every day, like today it's happening in China, for example. But so we were not allowed to keep Shabbat. We were not allowed to do the circumstance in the Jewish people are doing circumstance in every 8th day. In the 8th day of the born child, we're doing to him circumstance. So we're not allowed to do that. And basically what they wanted us to do in those 20 rules that they put on us, that we will forget the Torah, that we won't do the actions, and that we won't learn the Torah, and we won't pass on the oral tradition that we have. This is what they wanted. More than that, they did another thing. They read the Bible, and they said it's a very clever book, This is what they said. And they decided to translate the Bible to 70 languages, to all of the languages of the world. Now, and this is what I want to show in a moment. This is the second step that I want to explain the difference, why I'm not saying that we're not doing any interfaith discussions here. The Hebrew nation is not a clever, the Bible is not, it's not a clever book. It is clever, it's very clever, but it's not a clever book. It is the prophecy of God's will. It's a prophecy. We're speaking with God. We are speaking with him by praying to him. he is speaking with us by giving us the Bible, and we have prophecy. And they said that we are very smart people, the Hebrew nation. We are almost smart like the Greeks people. This is what they said. We are almost smart. We can imagine, we can get confused when we're speaking with the Hebrew people. It might be that they are smart even like us. This is what they said. This is what also not a Platon, his student Aristo said. When we're speaking with Aristotle, when we're speaking with the Hebrew people, we might think that they are maybe even clever like us, like the Greek people. Now, they were very clever, but to take this Bible, that is a prophecy, it's a different dimension, and to say that it's a very clever book, like all of the other books, therefore, let's translate this book so it will sit down in all the libraries in the world. It's very nice that everybody knows this book, but they don't understand it if we don't attach to this also the oral tradition that we have, like every other book, and we are lacking the prophecy side, and the prophecy is it's a different dimension. I'm going to show this. I'm going to speak about this in a moment. I'm going to go to this a bit deeper, and this is the main problem that they did. Now, if we look, I think this is also something that I said already a few times, that we need from time to time to remind ourselves. If we look on the human body or on the human person, we find that he is contained with two different things inside. From one side, he is very related to the nature. Okay, go to the hospital and you will see that every part of the human body is related to the nature, and it's working like the nature. And if you have problems or disabilities, so the doctors will give you the exact menu how to reorganize yourself back to the right place. This is one side, but every human also have his own free will, and this is something that is related to his quantity, not only to his quality, not only to the quantity side. You can measure. I said it once like that. You can measure your brain. Your brain is 2 kilo brain, 3 kilo brain. This is a size of the brain. Everything is nice, but you can't measure the quality of the brain. And the same thing with the quality of every human. We have a free will. The free will is really all totally different than the quantity side of the body. How much exactly I'm weighing, and how much did I eat today, and what exactly the blood quantity that I have inside, or the water that I have inside my body. And this is the same God created those two sides. The Yefet destiny is to research and to go inside until the Nobel Prizes, I will say, of the quantity side of the body, of the nature, of the world. And the Shen destiny is to take the quality side of the world, of the man and of the world. And those two must have, both arms together. And you can't use the measurement that you have of the quantity of the world and use it to the quality of the world, or the quality of every human. And this was the main debate that we had. They tried to demolish, to put down, to put aside all the side of connection with God, and we fight it against it, and we manage. This is why we're using the candles. I will say, before we go to the next stage, let's see a very important verse that we have, verse number 23. It's from the how do you call it? Proverbs. Okay, Mishle, Proverbs. You see, the Proverbs, chapter 6, and if you're going to verse number 23, Kiner mitzvah v'torah or v'derech chaim tochot musar. Please read 23.
For a commandment is a candle, and the Torah is a light, and disciplining rebukes are the way of life.
So we're speaking about the candle, and we're speaking about the light. Now, also let's look at the candle and the light. The candle itself, it's from the wax, okay? But the light is something very much more spiritual. More than that, the light of the candle is using the oxygen that we can't see. We can't really smell the oxygen. It's something here that is here. It's some sort of a inside ingredients. So it's something that is more related today. We know how to fill the oxygen, to measure it, and everything else. But it's something that, again, like everything else, there is the things that we can see and we can feel in the normal senses. And there are things that we know in the quantity side, that it's the hidden side. So the candle itself, it's like the commandments, it's the things that you do. But the Torah, the understanding, the inside, it's like the light, it's something else. And this is where we're speaking about the light and the candle. And it's very important to understand that, because this is the main, I will say, fight that we had against the Greeks. They're speaking only about the side of the candle, what we can see, we can measure, we can decide everything. They're not speaking about the side of the light, of the inside side of the light, I will say it like that. Because we know today also the light we can measure, even though the light itself is one of the most tricky things that it could be. We don't know today, till today, we don't know if this is particles or it's waves or everything else, with all of the measurement that we have in the science. So today also the light is also something a bit as abstract. But I think that at the end of the day, we will also find the exact measurement of the light. The understanding here is that to understand there is the physical world, and there's also, and this is something that is the destiny of Japhet, and there is also the other side, the inside of the world, the quantity, where we have the free will, where we have all those things that we can't measure. So you can't say exactly all the measurement that you have about your brain. It's not expressing everything that there is in your brain, because you have also very large quality that you can't measure. It's different between person and another person, and you can't use the same scale of the quantity for the scale of the quality. And this is the biggest fight that we had. And I want to show this also in another thing. I think that we spoke about this once, but even if we did so, I'm not sure. Even if we did so, it's good also from time to time. Let me see how I'm putting this in the full screen. Just a moment. Who knows how to put this on the full screen? Here it is. I found it. Okay, now you are. No. Go back. Let's go to the beginning. Let's see, for example, one of the differences. It's two. We're going to show this twice. I think Dan. I think that with you, I'm sure. I'm almost positive we spoke about this, but it's good also from time to time to remind us of the main. If we every year we for the last 2,400 years we are celebrating Hanukkah, so we can allow ourselves once a year to remind ourselves for things that are foundation for our understanding of the Bible and everything else. If we're asking ourselves, how exactly do we know or we've learned how to do the fire? The fire that we have, you know that the difference between us and the animals is the fire that we have. And the fire is the main foundation of starting to build everything in this world. Everything that we're doing cars, we're using the fire to melt and to organize all the metal there. We're doing the phones, all the new phones, everything that we're doing, we're using fire. To cook things, we're using fire. So we know that in the Greek mythology, Prometheus stole the fire from gods and gave it to men, and he was later caught and punished severely. It was, in the mountains, and every day the birds are eating his part of his body, the limb of his body, not the limb. How do you call it? The liver of his body, right? This is the mythology of the Greeks. He stole it from the aliens. Therefore, they punished him. They put him on some sort of a mountain, and every day the birds are eating his. I said it a few minutes ago. They're eating his liver. The liver is where the fire of the body. It's organizing the blood of the body. So they're eating his liver, and at night the liver is getting, growing back, and the day after that again they're eating his liver. But if you're thinking about this in a deeper way, in a profound way, we see that in the Greek mythology, there is a fight, there is some sort of a competition between men and God. And if we stole from God the fire, so we need to get punished. Because God will never say to us all of his secrets. He will keep some of the secrets with himself, so we won't be able to become on the same level. Therefore, there is always some sort of competition. Who is going to be the first one? Man managed to find the way of God, of the fire. He's getting closer to God. We will punish the person who gave us this thing. Let's go to the Hebrew mythology, okay? The Hebrew, what exactly the Hebrew explaining that happened. And this is what it says. Rabbi Yossi says, on Saturday night, okay, God gave Adam the knowledge similar to that of the heavens. It's a knowledge that came from heaven. But who gave it? God gave it to Adam. And Adam took two stones and rubbed them together, and light emerged from them. So we say here something very different. Suddenly, there is a relationship between God and man. And when God is sitting in the dark, God is teaching him how to do the light. But it's very interesting. God is not giving him light. He's saying to him, listen, become like me, create something new. I will teach you. And you also need to do things. It's not that you will get everything from me like, like you don't have the possibility of doing anything. I want you to rebuild the world. I want you to control the world. It won't happen if I will give you everything. Start to work. So I will teach you how to do those things. But I'm not in a fight with you. And the second thing is, my expectation from you is that you will do also things. But this is only one midrash. It's in the Babylon Talmud. There's another midrash that is saying something even more amazing. Okay, please, Dan, read this Bereshit Rabbah. Okay.
Bereshit Rabbah. Let me turn my microphone up. Bereshit Rabbah, Genesis chapter 11. When the sun set on Saturday night, darkness began to fall, and Adam was afraid, as it says in Psalm 139:11. Darkness will darken me. He thought, the snake is coming to harm me. What did God do? He brought to him two stones, and Adam rubbed them against each other, and light emerged from them. Then he said a blessing over it, as it says in Psalms 139:11. The night will be as light about me. What blessing did he say over it? Creator of the lights of the fire.
Now, thank you very much, Dan. Now we see it's even a bit, I will say, a bigger understanding, a much more profound understanding. For what exactly Adam was afraid? It was darkness. So fair enough. From time to time we have it done. Yes.
Nature. He's afraid of nature. The snake.
Okay, you said two things. Okay, first of all, you said the snake, but you're right. He was afraid from the snake. A snake is also some sort of the nature. Okay, I agree with you. So he was afraid from the nature. But why do we need to be afraid from the nature? What is happening here that he was afraid from the nature? You're almost there, Timothy. So you need to move another step.
Oh, can you repeat your question there?
I'm asking, what was he afraid from? You're saying right. You're saying he was afraid from the snake. He was afraid from the nature. He was afraid from his sin. The snake is related to his sin. And here we see that Adam is, with the understanding of the oral tradition, is combining together his actions with his sins. He was afraid from the darkness, and he said to himself, there is a darkness because of my sin. The darkness is related to my sin. Maybe the world is shutting down because don't forget, it was a few hours after he did the sin. Maybe the world is shutting down because I did a sin. Now, we today never put any connection between the nature world and the nature laws with human action. If we are behaving correctly, or we are behaving, God forbid, not correctly, we will go to the supermarket and we have food. We have no connection between those two. And this is where we can think to ourselves that we can measure all the moral situation with the tools of the quantity and not of the quality, because we don't have any connection. But in the Hebrew tradition, there is a connection. And when the man Adam was afraid because of his behavior, suddenly we're starting to see that he is saying that the laws of the nature, like you said, Timothy, okay, the snake is the law of the nature and the darkness is the law of nature. It's related to my behavior, Adam says. And this is where God is saying to him, first of all, God, again, have a lot of connection with him, and he's showing him what to do. And he's saying to him, be aware that with your actions, you will manage to take off or to wipe off all the darkness, all the bad things, all the hard situation. It's all related to your actions. This is what is hidden here in this Bereshit Rabbah, okay? So we said it because of his sin. And he connected between actions, acting morally, and the laws of nature. This is what Adam did. And now we're starting to see the natural world is like a maze. It's like a maze. You have difficulties going out from the maze because you don't know the higher dimension, or you can't see the maze from a higher dimension. This is the natural world, and we are inside this world. Now we need some sort of additional dimension, and this is where God is exposing himself and telling us, you know how to do light? With your actions, take those two stones and do it. Now, again, we're going back. The connection with God is a normal connection, and it's also related to our actions, and God wants to have connections with us. And this is how he is explaining to us what exactly to do. And this is the real profound understanding of the Bible. The Bible is not only a wisdom of God. The wisdom of God, this is how the Greek people saw it. It's a wisdom of God. No, the Bible is also the moral understanding of God's will. And he's teaching us what is the right will and how to behave in the right way. It is helping us to go out from the maze of the nature. This is the additional dimension that we have. And this is what, in the old, I will show it I want to show this in another mythology that we have, okay? In the Greek mythology it was very popular, and the ability to fly was only for the lions, only for the gods. They were the only one who had the ability to fly. Now, today we have the airplanes and we can fly from one place to another place, but today we have the airplane and we can fly from one place to another place. But in the Greek mythology, where did we saw the flying people? It was connected with the Icarus. You remember they said the story of Icarus, where in the Greek mythology, okay, there is a struggle there between the aliens and the Daedalus and Icarus, and the Icarus tried to fly too much high. It's too much connected to the aliens, too much connected to the gods, too much connected to the sun. And what happened? All the wax melted and he fell down and he died. Again, we see the competition between man and God. And this is how the Greek mythology is explaining things. Now let's go to the Hebrew verse. The Hebrew verse is something very simple. And I shall carry you on eagle's wing. Okay, God is building us the eagles, the wings, sorry. Not only the wings of the most highest bird in the world, okay? Because God he wants us to be, like the lion that he is the king of the animals, the eagle is the king of the birds. He wants us to be the birds. He wants us to be the king of the birds, not only the birds. He wants us to fly. He wants us to be the king of the birds. He wants us to be the most highest as we can do. And it's with the relationship that we have with God. And it's again, it's all the way totally different between the mythology of the Greeks, the old Greeks, and the mythology or the understanding that the Hebrew nation is giving here with this situation. So this is another. This is the second thing I wanted to show that is related with the, I will say, with the difference that we have from the old Greeks, the mythology of the Greeks, and also and from the Hebrew nation. And those are the two different realms, I will say, that are here, that's supposed to combine together. You can't say that God didn't create this world. He created this world, and He's demanding from us to control this world, to search this world, and to do everything that we can, so we will manage to sit down, each one in his home, and to do good things from this world. From one side. From the other side, He's also demanding from us to behave morally. So this is the destination of Japheth, one side, and the destination of Shem from the other side. And if the destination of Japheth would have succeeded in the war that we had there, as you said, in something like 150 years before the accounting, and they would have succeeded, so the world would have come to an end of the world with a big clash, because we could have lost one of the most important sides of this world. But thank God, we managed, and we didn't get vanished. And today after a very long exile, after a very long time, we're starting also to speak, and we're managing to start to combine in this world those two sides of the world. And this is the profound understanding of Hanukkah. And we also explained a bit of verses from basically from Genesis, but also from a bit of other places. This is what I have to say tonight. I hope it was a good.
Beautiful words, Rabbi. I mean, there's so much there for us to digest, and I do appreciate you taking the time to share the depth. Does anybody on the panel up there have any questions for Rabbi? Anybody on YouTube?
It's okay. We finished the time. I think, Renat, if I remember correctly, I think that you've heard about the difference between the mythology of the Greeks and us. I think that we already spoke about this. Dan, I'm sure with you I spoke about this.
Oh, yes.
Also,
in the Kuzari.
In the Kuzari, we spoke about this, exactly. I think that we need to do again a session of the Kuzari today.
Oh, beautiful book. Beautiful book.
What is it? Okay, Renat, everything is okay. You have a good time there, good vacation. Very important.
Also, yes, it's all right. And we have a menorah. We are lighting it. It's already second day. Just a question on the Siddur.
Yes. We're going to another issue now. The Siddur, by the way, is the way the prayer book is the way that we're speaking with God. Okay, God spoke with us, and we're speaking with God with the prayer book. Okay, yes, Renat. What is the question about the prayer book? Yes.
So there is only one piece here about the blessing for Hanukkah, right? And just before this blessing is written, what has to be said on the first night, in addition to the blessings on each night, but nothing about the blessings for every night. So, and then these blessings which are recited by Jews are about the commandment that God gave to Jews to light the candles of Hanukkah. So what are the blessings that the Noahites need to recite?
Just a moment, let me find it again. Let me take this book to see exactly, just a moment.
It's page 166.
No, you have the English version, just a moment. I'm looking in the Hebrew version, just a moment. Just a moment.
Well, for those of you listening, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a broadcast on Brit Shalom, the new Noahide Shulchan Aruch by Rabbi Uri Hirki. I put together something really nice. I'm going to share, take some time tomorrow afternoon. I haven't set a date, but I'll post it up on social media. If any of you on the YouTube channel there watching or on Facebook want to tune in tomorrow. But yeah, please, Rabbi, share about the Siddur.
First of all, I'm very eager to see what you prepared and everything else. So I'm sure that, and don't forget to broadcast it in all of the, as much as channels that we can. Okay, also with this, there is it's going like that. The blessings in each night are related only to the Jewish tradition. Okay, therefore, the first night, everybody is blessing that God gave us a living breath, so we came to this day. This is the first day, but since it's only it's one holiday, one full holiday of 8 days, so we're not blessing it every day. We're blessing it only the first day. The blessings of the candles are blessings that are inside Jewish blessings, and we're saying two things. We're doing some sort of an inside blessings, and also then after the blessing, we're also saying some sort of a prize. And the prize is something that you have to say here, or that is permitted also to a non-Jewish person to say. This is why on the Siddur, you don't have the blessings of the lightning candles. You with me, Renat? The lightning candles is only for the Jewish people. It's a very inside blessing of the Jewish people.
Right, so there's no mitzvah.
So in the first day, you're blessing that God gave you the breath to live till today. This is a blessing that everybody can say this. Also, if he's a non-Jewish person, if you're an Noahide person, it's okay. You can say that blessed to God that gave me life till today, that I can live and to do this mitzvah, to do this thing. And then in the next days, you're not giving the blessing of the candles, that is an inside Jewish blessing, but you do praising God through those, it's not verses, it's some sort of writing that was written down by our sages, how to praise God for those candles, and exactly what our relationship with those candles, and what it's reminding us, all of his praising to God that helped us to win this battle, battle that we had against the others. So we have only the first day, you have a blessing. You with me? Okay.
So these praises must be by Noahide recited in a free form, or there are some standard ones?
No, those pricing could be by everybody. Everybody in this world can say those prices. It's okay. I'm saying that.
No, I mean, are they written somewhere, or
they are? No, they're written here. I see in the Siddur you have the prizes, the prize that you're saying to God. I will open the English one also, the English version. What page in the English? What page is it in English?
So it's 166.
166. Yes, on the first night, you're saying, on the first night you have the Sheikhiano. The first night you're saying the Sheikhiano. Blessed you are Hashem, our God, King of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this moment. This is the Sheikhiano. This is saying in the first night. Okay? And in the first night, you're also saying, we light those candles over the miracles and the salvation and everything else that happened here in Hanukkah days. In the next day, you're not saying the blessing, you're just saying the prizes. We light those candles over the miracles, salvation, and wonders that, okay, this is what you're doing, okay? Now it's clear.
Got it. Thank you, Rabbi, for explaining.
Not a problem at all.
Oh, beautiful.
Rabbi.
Yes, Timothy.
I have a question too.
Good to see you. Yes.
So I have the Noahide prayer book.
You got it from where did you get it? You got it from Amazon, or you got it? You downloaded it from the site?
I have the actual book
okay.
from Amazon. Yeah.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank
if
you.
you, yeah, I think that Renat also have it with another thing. Yes, inside. Yes. Okay. When we're going to meet you, I will also write to you some sort of a, how do you call it? Inside. How do you call it, Renat? I will write few words from me also to you. Yes, Timothy. Yes.
So do you like
Mm-hmm.
you highly recommend that we recite the prayers, or like what do you
No, I
or
think the prayer is something very important. I think that every person needs to pray to God at least once a day, if you're asking me, at least once a day. And you have there in the prayer book a lot of options, what exactly and how exactly. And yes, I think so. I think that to pray to God, to speak with God at least once a day, is very important. Usually, the best time is also when you wake up in the morning and you praise
Yes.
God for giving you another day of doing things in this world. I think this is very essential, very important. It's also showing that you're accepting upon yourself God, who created this universe, to become your God. It's showing, because when you have any difficulty or anything that is you lacking and that you want to fulfill and everything else, to whom are you going? You know, if you're lacking money, you're going to some very rich person and saying to him, "Can you give me please a bit of charity or a bit of money?" So you're asking him to give you something. When you're praying in front of God, the creator of the universe, you're saying to him, "I want more wisdom. I want to be more, with
Character.
the opportunities to live here, to give good things." Or I have my aunt is ill and I want that she will get repaired and everything else. So you're going to the one who have all the abilities. And when you're accepting him, basically, you are moving all the idolatry from your life. And this is also expressing, one of the ways to express that you're connected with God.
thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, everybody. So, Dan, I think that we can close today. I think so.
Sure, yeah. So tomorrow, folks, I'm going to be doing a broadcast on the new Noahide Shulchan Aruch called Brit Shalom, which is the Covenant of Peace. I'm going to put that up on social media. Also have 2 more broadcasts coming up on Wednesday. A new series, Pirkei Avot, with Rabbi Chaim Kaufman will be this Wednesday at its usual time, which is... I think it's 8 p.m. in Israel. I think it's 10 a.m. for me and 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'm also Wednesday night. Rabbi Moshe Shulman out of Brooklyn is going to do a very clear explanation because of a lot of Noahites asking some questions about what Noahites should be doing and shouldn't be doing during Hanukkah and how they should be and shouldn't they be celebrating. So he's going to do a lot of clarification on Wednesday. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. for me here in the Pacific. That'll be in the a.m. in the morning, wee small hours in Israel. So, Rabbi, are we on for next week, sir?
Yes, of course, absolutely. Next week.
All right. So we'll aim for next Monday, same time.
Yes, of course.
All
Great
right,
to see
folks.
you.
You
Great
heard
to see
that.
you
So
all.
till next week, have a wonderful, happy Hanukkah. I got to try and shut this down.